everybody, it's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I am doing a 2023 Bookish journal setup. I say Bookish journal because it is going to include all of the books that I read and what I think of them and just keep track of all of my reading stuff for 2023. But I'm also going to be using it to keep track of all of my YouTube stuff. I'm also going to keep track of my writing in this one as well. So that is why it's a bookish journal. The journal that I ended up choosing was this beautiful one that I got from Archer and Olive. I go into more detail about information about the journal in more detail when we get to the actual setup part. So I'll just say that I got it from Archer and Olive and I'm super happy with it. I think it's absolutely stunning. I would like to also just say that this style, the planner style video, I have never done before. I did do a flip through of my reading journal from last year, but I've never done the planning setup. So I'm not 100% sure what the quality is like. I have done it all now and I have done the voiceover and I was very nervous doing the voiceover. So just bear that in mind. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm doing, but you know, you got to start somewhere. If you like this, obviously please do let me know, and I potentially would do more planning videos and put them up for you as well if that's something you're interested in. I don't know if, I can't remember off the top of my head if I mentioned this in the voiceover, but like I said, this is a reading bookish journal for 2023. I decided not to do a just daily, weekly journal with all of my appointments and work and all of that sort of thing. And I also decided not to include teaching in here. It's just bookish. The reason for that is because I just wasn't using it that way. I really wasn't writing down any ideas I had for teaching. That's all kind of online and in my own head. I also wasn't writing down really any of my appointments or events or anything like that, and I was mostly going back and adding them in once they were done, which kind of felt like a waste of time and a waste of the journal space. So I've decided to do it this way. I use my phone to keep track of all of my appointments and everything like that, and then my partner and I also have a little system that we use involving post-it notes on the fridge. So yeah, that works better for me. I also just want to say, you can't really tell from where I'm sitting, but it's a kind of, this journal is beautiful, but it picks up obviously all the cat hair because everything in my house is always covered in cat hair, but it picks up like just kind of dust and different bits and pieces, and because it's black it's quite obvious. So how do I clean it is what I want to know. It is a kind of canvas cover. Anyway, that's not important. We're going to go into the planning setup now. So I really hope you enjoy the video, and yeah, here is this stunning Archer and Olive notebook. Is 192 pages long. It has two ribbon bookmarks with the ampersand logo, featuring this elastic strap to hold it together and the elastic pen holder as well. The pages are 160 GSM thick as well. So I did do both the name page and the cover page on camera, but then I wasn't happy with how the cover page turned out, so just getting a little bit of a flip through. So there's the ampersand there. So this Dutch door that you see here is from the Archer and Olive planner kit, the Hug in a Cup. So it's titled Bookish Journal 2023. It's going to be where I plan all of my bookish content, what I'm reading, my channel plans, as well as some writing plans that I have. I'm showing you here that I used the Micron 05 to write the 2023. I printed out this title and then cut it out and glued it into the journal. And then over here we have the quote, "Books are a uniquely portable magic" by Stephen King. I just thought that spoke to reading in general and how I feel about reading, so I wanted to put it in. I used the 01 micron to write out the quote here. I will link all of the materials that I use. I got a lot of them from Officeworks, but some of them came from Archer and Olive and some came from Etsy, so I will put all of that information in the description below. So here we just have another look at this title page, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And now you get to see me do the planning. I apologize that the journal isn't quite in frame. I figured this out on my second day of filming and fixed it, but for this first little bit, it's not in frame. So So this first spread that I'm making here is my future log, and as you can see I have cut out a bunch of little calendars for each month. I got this from Jashi Corin. I can't remember which video it's from, but in one of her setup videos she had the various different calendars that you could print out for free, so that's what I've done. So I will link Jashi Corin's channel in the description below. So I cut them down to size off camera, but then they didn't quite fit. Here you'll see me making a huge mistake, which then required me to fix. You might be able to tell I don't really know what I'm doing there with the little Stanley knife, and I cut down here, which actually cut the binding of the journal, and as you can see the bottom page, the page underneath, I cut as well. So I have to go ahead and fix all of that up using just regular sticky tape. So this is a very much amateur mistake. I have to go ahead and fix both sides as well. Yeah, I was a little bit upset with myself for doing that. I felt rather stupid. But it all worked out okay in the end. And yeah, I was trying to make these little Dutch doors so that I could do the future log the way I'd seen a number of different people do. And I decided that I wanted to pretty up my mistake using this washi tape. And I actually really like the way it turned out. So this is kind of my Dutch door tops. And then as you can see, I continue it on over that page and then add some more over on this page as well. And that kind of separates out where I will then end up putting the thing that says future log, the title, and then the actual calendars. This year in 2022, I started my first ever reading bullet journal, and I tried to make it an all-purpose journal, and I tried to include just general life stuff, some teaching stuff, and have weekly spreads with all of my plans, but I really didn't use them. So I've decided just to make this a bookish journal. As you saw, it is called a bookish journal, but I decided that I was still going to have a future log. My partner and I do have our own little kind of calendar that we keep for events that we use post-it notes just stuck on the fridge. But I thought it might be helpful to have some place where I have future events, so if we get invited to a wedding or we've got a trip coming up or something like that, that can be in the future log. And it also means that I can go ahead and put in readathons and various different things that I know are coming up in the year, because obviously, as we know, with bullet journals, we do them on a monthly basis rather than for a whole year. So it just means that I can put in all of those different things. If I enter any short story competitions or try to get published in magazines, which I'm thinking of doing, then I will also be able to put all that in there as well. So here you see me trying to decide what colour green I want to use for the title, and I'm just getting out all my various different things, and like you can see, just having a try measuring it up with that washi tape that I used. End up deciding on a gold Sharpie because I think it goes with some of the flowers in there, and I really like the way that it worked out and the effect. So that's me making the lines to separate the months out. They're not perfectly organized or anything like that, just where the months were. So this is a little trick that I saw, and I can't remember who. I've been watching a lot of journaling videos recently. I'll try and remember and put it in the description below, but where you use Sharpies or some of your other markers to colour onto the stamps and then stamp them in that way. The letters are a little bit further away than I wanted them to. This is all very new to me. I haven't used stamps like this before, so yeah. And then I'm leaving log because I actually was waiting for small stamps with a different font to come in, so that will be fixed up later, and I'll do a flip through of everything at the end and you'll see the changes. So now I'm just looking for some stickers to put in. This sticker came from an Australian Etsy store called Mum and Me Designs, and it is a planner kit for book lovers, I think it's called, and I just really liked that picture there. And then I'm trying to figure out if I want to do a border or something like that along the top of the page, and you'll see in a minute I end up deciding not to. So I start out with the doing a little dot there, but I end up realizing that I don't really like it. So I end up covering that up, and you can't really see it unfortunately because I had the journal not quite in frame, but I cut out some of these little flowers off the washi tape that's in the middle there and stick that down. This is the washi tape that I got from Officeworks. So for those who aren't Australian, Officeworks is a big stationery shop. It's a franchise all around Australia, and yeah, I got this from there, and I really like the way the colours all go together, so I'm just mixing and matching with that kit that I got from Archer and Olive. And yeah, now I am doing my goals page. As you can see, I did struggle a little bit to line all the letters up there, but we get there eventually. So for this, I think I was using the Micron 05 again, can't quite remember, and I end up deciding just to do the outline of the letters, which I think works really well. I did do some pre-planning for this journal to decide what spreads I wanted to include, so that was me just looking at 2022's journal to see what goals I was going to be putting in there. And then you see that I end up deciding to have reading along the top there, and I just go straight in with the pen rather than writing it out in pencil and then going over it, because I'm not doing really fancy writing here. So my goals are reading, YouTube, writing, and Last to Read book club, which is the book club that I run with Ellie from Earl Books, Lana from Lore and Lullabies, and of course myself. All the information for that is linked below if you want to join us as well, and that would be really amazing. So just adding some decorations to this page. I really like this washi tape. This is from that kit that I keep mentioning, the Hug in a Cup kit from Archer and Olive. The Hug in a Cup kit features all sorts of things to do with tea, and it's just really cute. So I'm really just bouncing the theme for these spreads off that kit and everything that came in the kit. So this paper is something else I picked up from Officeworks, and I am sticking it down into the corner here where you can't see. Again, sorry about that. So it's just sort of ripped and then it sits in the corner, and then over the top is a sticker from Archer and Olive kit. You'll see in a moment that I do underline the headings there, reading and so on, with a highlighter, green highlighter, but that's really it for the decorations for the goals page. Reasonably simple and straightforward. So again, I'm just consulting my journal to see what's coming next. I decided to go with reading stuff next, but unfortunately I did forget a couple of things, so I had to put those at the end, but you know, it's all learning. But I'm a little bit disappointed about that, but what can you do? Alright, so this page here, I am restarting a sort of book buying slowdown for next year. So I'm not doing a book buying ban, but instead I'm doing a book buying slowdown. So how that works is that I'm allowed to buy one for every 5th book read. 5th book on my TBR, it doesn't have to be a physical TBR, but it does have to be a book I own. So that's what I've called it, 1 in 5. So one book that I can buy once I've read 5 books that I own, just to keep me from getting a stupid amount of books and not reading them and having them just sit on my shelves and then get more and more. There's nothing wrong with that. I definitely do it myself, but I just didn't want to keep that habit up. I want to have a slightly smaller TBR and be reading the books that I'm buying. So that's what I'm doing on this page over here. This little washi tape again I got from Officeworks, and you can't really tell, but it's actually really shiny, and I think it's really pretty, and I love the blue. So because I did blue in the numbers there, I decided that I would go ahead and use this lovely shiny pretty, it's kind of like almost like wrapping paper, rather than writing the lines, drawing the lines up, I was using this as lines. So just making a little table there so I can keep a tally on one side, so you can see I've written books read and then haul, and then I can write down the names of the books that I end up buying once I've... Don't worry, I do end up coming back and doing something with that spare page next to my 1 in 5. So this page here is going to be my favourite books of the year page, and what I'm doing right now is cutting out a bit of the sticker so that I can use the frame of the sticker so that I can make a frame on the page so that throughout the year I can print off covers of the books and put them in, so you've got a really lovely visual representation of my favourite books of the year. And I wanted to kind of have the frame so that it vaguely looks like a frame, unlike this year where I've just got a table. And so I have a helpful cat, so I end up just using that to measure out, so when I come back and put in the book covers, then they'll be framed and ready to go. So I am counting them all up and then drawing it out. I didn't make a grid spacing guide because I didn't think I was going to really use it very much. I'm not planning, like I said, on doing weekly spreads to record all the tasks I need to do, and I'm probably not going to put as many boxes this year. I'm going to try and be a little bit more freeform, so that's why I'm not using a grid spacing guide. It does mean that I have to end up doing what I'm doing there and counting them every time, but that's fine. So I come back now because I realized that actually I need a haul page, despite the fact that I have my book buying slowdown, because I wanted to have a space where I could have gifts that I might receive throughout the year, and also if I do end up hauling books that are outside of that 1 in 5. So I'm not including books that I definitely know that I'm going to read immediately, like book club books and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing here, just come back. And again, I'm leaving I've written gifts, and then I'll have and then I'll have haul stamped in using a different font when I get that. And again, I am using this really nice shiny washi tape. This is green this time to go with the green writing that I've got at the top there. Unfortunately, my camera does turn itself off, stop recording, once it gets to half an hour. So I did finish the favourite books page off camera because I didn't realise it had stopped, which is why we've gone back here to do the gifts. And you'll see that coming up in a moment when I finish up here. And you'll see that properly when I do a flip through at the end. So this page is going to be my favourite quotes page. I've seen a few different booktubers, bullet journalists, and so on do this in a reading journal, and I thought it looked like a really, really nice idea. I think the first person that I saw do it was Elizabeth from Plant-Based Bride, but like I said, I've seen quite a few different people do it, and I just thought it seemed like a really lovely idea. I don't actually tab my books as I'm reading them though, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to make sure that I'm remembering favourite quotes, even if it's just writing them in this page, and then yeah, like in pencil, and then sort of going over them and making them permanent once I've decided what my favourite quotes are. So yeah, I'm just deciding on the decorations here. I really love this beautiful paper that I got in the package from Officeworks with these flowers. I think it's just absolutely stunning. And at first I'm trying to use scissors, but I do end up eventually, or perhaps not for this one. Later on, you'll see that I end up using my little Stanley knife, but anyway, the scissors seem to work fine here. I was thinking about using the stamps, and then I end up just freehanding it. That's just give me some idea of sort of where to place things. I'm not amazing at handwriting, but I think this one looks pretty good. I got this little ruler off Amazon. I cannot remember what the store was, but it's really useful. It's got lots of really little cool things that you can outline in your journal or wherever. So just a word about these markers that I'm using. Again, I got them off Amazon and I cannot remember who the seller was, but they are actually not that amazing. They're fairly low quality, to be honest. But I wasn't sure if I liked journaling, so I didn't want to pick a lot of really expensive bunch. Like, I know Tombo's a favourite of a lot of journalers. So I didn't buy those. I bought the El Cheapo, and they're perfectly fine. But you'll see later that I do end up, it does end up going through the page a little bit, which is a bit of a shame because Archer and Olive pages are so thick that it's not supposed to happen, but it did anyway. And the highlighters do a little bit as well. They're also just El Cheapo from Woolworths. So if you have any suggestions of something that is within the same quality as a Tombow but maybe not the same price, if you could let me know, that would be amazing. I mean, I only went through a little bit, so it's no big deal, but you know, it'd be nice to not have it go through it all. But yeah, that'd be awesome if you could give me some ideas. Just comment in down below and let me know. That'd be amazing. So this page that I'm doing here is another new one from me, which is anticipated releases for 2023, which is not something that I normally keep track of at all. But I decided this year that I actually wanted to. There's quite a few books coming out that sound really interesting, and I decided that maybe I just wanted to be a little bit more aware of 2023 releases coming out. So yeah, I decided to make a spread for it in the journal. I figured that would mean that I would pay more attention when they came out and keep track of them. And that's what we're doing here. So making, like I said, I had no particular plan for any of these pages. I was just going with basically the colours from this Hug in a Cup kit, and the pink is a colour there, so that's why I'm going there. And the camera cut out again. This is a Last to Read Book Club tracker page that I've done here. And this is one of the sections where the highlighter actually went through. So I think it's those bits down the bottom where I'm kind of going over several times. But only a little bit, like I said, but yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that. So if you could comment below with some ideas of different markers. I really like the lighter colours that I've got there with the highlighters. That'd be amazing. And then this next page here is for book clubs and anybody reads. So the Last to Read Book Club get its own page because that is my book club that I run with Earl and Lana, like I said, so I'm kind of feeling like I'm obligated to do those, whereas this other page is for any book clubs that I decide to join that I don't have to do every month. And then over here in the Last to Read, I'm just kind of keeping track of the books we're going to read for what month and then when our live show will be. We're trying to be a little bit more organised than we have been previously. I keep flicking backwards and forwards here just to check what I've put in and what I need to put in. And so now this page, I've moved now to my YouTube ideas, what I want to do with the channel. So yeah, that's what this spread is. It is for video ideas. I was going to make the two pages two different spreads, but just have something in the middle anyway. I decided that, you know, it really wouldn't matter. But I end up deciding that actually the ideas probably need their own 2-page spread anyway, just because I end up having a lot of ideas. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I really like this whole idea of having 2 different tones, and sort of using one as a almost shading. This, you can't really see very well, but that green washi tape is actually glittered, and it looks really cool in the page, but it doesn't come up as well in the camera as I would have liked, but you know, that's okay. This next page is I'm setting up for tags, so any bookish tags that I get tagged in or that I see people do that I just want to do myself. I end up trying to do this kind of layered effect that I've seen a lot of different journaling people do, so different washi tapes and stickers one over the top of the other, but I'm not sure that I like how it turned out or not. I don't know, but that's the attempt here. And like I said, it is tags. So this is a chalk marker, and I don't end up liking it very much, so again I end up covering it up. And I think it might be that little bit of pink flower there that is what I don't like particularly. I think I liked it until then, but you know, I'm just experimenting with different ideas. So like I said, this is for tags, so to keep track of anything that I am tagged to do or that I see. And then over here, this is me keeping track of my YouTube stats throughout the year. So just the 1-page spread. I've end up breaking it up into 4s so I can have the 4 quarters of the year, and just to keep an eye on how my stats are going. I try not to think about stats super much because I end up getting a bit obsessed with it, and it often ends up kind of upsetting me if I'm not doing as well as I would like to do. But I basically had a spare page, and so I thought that would make sense to do that. So that's what I'm doing here. And I like to keep track of subscribers and stuff. I mean, I do a little bit, but yeah, I don't want to a lot, if that makes sense. So where I drew the YouTube logo and coloured it in with red there, that is the section where the red leaked through a little bit to the next page. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm actually going through and finding some pretty images from a colouring in book that I have. So I'm going to cut the pictures out and stick them on the next page so that you can't see where the red leaked through a little bit. It is only a little bit, and I probably was being rather extra here, but it just kind of bugged me. You can sort of see it there, and because the journal is so nice and the pages are so nice and thick, I just didn't want to have that on the next page. So I decided, yeah, that I would cut out some images, and then I can actually use that as colouring ins. So at any point throughout the year, if I want to do a colouring in, I can do that. Didn't quite fit. I don't think that actually turned out really nice. So this is where I stopped filming the setup, and we're about to have a flip through so you can see some of the stuff that I added after I had stopped filming and we put all the filming equipment away. So here comes the flip through in a moment. And we have, of course, the nameplate page with my little cat and teapot. And then the little colouring in thing you just saw me stick in. I ended up going back and adding the bookcase next to my cover page. I decided to make it for my Goodreads goal, so the books that I'm showing you here, there are 80 of them all up, and I will colour that in as I read the books. I'm not planning on doing that by audiobook, ebook, and so on. I may do it by genre, but I'll probably just colour them in. Right, and the cover page using that beautiful Dutch door I got from Archer and Olive. And then, of course, Bookish Journal, as you see, 2023, with the quote from Stephen King. And all these lovely washi tapes that are from Archer and Olive and Officeworks. Next page is my future log, and as you can see, I have added log in there. I'm really happy with this page. I think it looks really, really pretty. I really like the flowers and the little teddy bear and the teapot. Then we have my goals page, and you can see how the decoration turned out with a little jelly pot there and the beautiful washi tape that I absolutely love from Archer and Olive. Then we have the gifts and haul, and then the 1 in 5 page, which I also think looks absolutely beautiful, and I love all the stickers and everything that I've used here as well. The next page is my favourite books of 2023, and you'll see there's a lot of liquid paper. Unfortunately, quite a few mistakes on this page, but that's okay. I still think it looks good. And then we have all the frames for my favourite books. I actually have 15. I wanted to do 1 per month and then 3 for any extras that I have. And then that's the DNF section. I'm not going to be having a disappointing books or worst books of the year for 2023, just my DNFs. I've decided. And then favourite quotes, my 2023 anticipated releases. I like that page as well, although not as much as I like the rest of the pages you've seen so far. And then I've got my last to read, my buddy read, and book clubs. And then I added this little section here because I forgot to include self-destruct anywhere. So I just added this little bit here to go with the book clubs section, or books I'm going to read, books I need to read. So this is the books that will self-destruct this year if I don't read them. And I just made this little kind of Dutch door thing, which I think looks really pretty. That's me showing you where the highlighter has gone through. And then my video ideas page, which I think looks absolutely stunning. I really, really like this page. The tags page, which still not 100% happy with, but it's okay. And then my YouTube stats page. And that is some more of that red glittery washi tape that you see there. Then we have the colouring ins that I cut out and put in to go over where the red, as I'm just pointing it out to you, where it went through. I really like that sticker. Alright, these are some pages you haven't seen yet. So we have 2 pages for writing, we have story ideas and what I'm currently working on. And then I had to add some stuff because I'd forgotten about them. So we have a NetGalley. So I've decided to join NetGalley for the first time ever. And so we have the book title, the author, the release date, and then whether I've written a review or not. So I plan to keep track of everything I get for NetGalley throughout the year on there. And then this page is for First Nation Australian authors that I'm interested in reading. And I try and show you that, but I don't know how. Oh yeah, there you go. And then the black, yellow, and red is the colours of the Aboriginal Australian flag. And I've got a page just left blank in case something else pops up or I need more space for something. And then my yearly stats page. And I really like this one. I wasn't certain about how it would turn out, but I really like this in the end. So yeah, it says yearly stats, and that's where all the yearly stats, how many pages I've read, what genres, etc., etc., will go there. So that is actually the end of the flip through. That is all of my beginning of the year spreads. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. I still feel like I very much don't know what I'm doing, but I have tried my best to give you an interesting look at me planning my bullet journal for the year. I really love this journal. I really love everything I've gotten from Archer and Olive, and unfortunately I have not managed to keep it particularly clean there, but that's what happens, I guess. So yeah, that's it from me today. Please do comment below what you thought of my video. Did you enjoy the spreads? Let me know if you'd like to see any more setup videos like this. Please let me know all of that in the comments below. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me a moon emoji, because we have this beautiful moon on the cover of the journal. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.